Eastview family, happy Friday to you. Hey, I just want to say congratulations. We made it to the end of this week, and just hear from my heart that I am praying for us as a church family. I'm praying for myself, I'm praying for staff, I'm praying for all of us. I hope that you are too, and that you're leaning in to maybe what God is and what He wants to do in the midst of kind of all that we're going through. Some of you know this, but I call my family Team Sniff, and we have 6 kiddos. Our first 5 came through foster care and adoption, and then our youngest came biologically. They are all miracles in their own right, but we are a crazy crew. There's nothing normal, even though we live in normal. There's nothing normal about Team Sniff. I like to say that we are a cornucopic conglomeration of creative chaos, meaning that the highs are amazing and the lows are really crappy, because we are broken people that God has somehow pieced together, and that we're making a family of it. And it's just an interesting ride. There's attachment issues, there's past trauma, there's broken relationships, that there's just unknown history that we have in our family, and we're just trying to kind of figure it out. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes there's some questions that come into my mind, whether they're good or bad. One of those is, God, how are you going to redeem this, whatever this is? And then what in the world is going to happen? How are you going to work this out? I wonder about you, if you've ever asked those questions. More importantly, is there anything in your past that you just feel so broken that God's not able to redeem it? Do you have anything like that? It reminds me of John 4. In a moment, we're going to be going back to that story of Jesus and the woman at the well. But I just know this, as I've shared my own family story, as I've received counsel, as we've had people pray over us, as I've done the same with other families along the way, even though we are all broken and we all have a broken past and we're trying to mend all of that, I just know and come to see and believe that Jesus redeems all things, because He wants to bring glory to Himself, and He wants us to feel this healing grace and mercy that can only come through Him. And that takes us to John 4. I'm reading John 4 verses 39 to 42. Many Samaritans from the town believed in Him, as in Jesus, because of the woman's testimony. She said this, "He told me all that I ever did." So when the Samaritans came to Him, they asked Him to stay with them, and He stayed with them 2 days. And many more believed because of His words. They said to the woman, "It is no longer because of what you have said that we believe, for we have heard for ourselves, and we know that this indeed is the Savior of the world." As I was reading through this, I wrote these phrases down: from transactional to transformation, from shame to salvation, from failure to freedom. This woman's testimony was a catalyst for more people to respond to the good news of Jesus, the gospel. And the truth about her past changed the future of her entire town. They were never the same. They literally said in here, many people believed in Jesus because of the woman's testimony. Her broken past changed the future of those around her. It reminds me of Romans 8:1 that says, "Therefore, there is no condemnation for those who are in Jesus." So here's what that means for us, is that there is nothing in your past or in your present that is not or cannot be redeemed by Jesus. In fact, it might be that very thing that you're the most ashamed of, that you're the least proud of, that Jesus can and will use to transform you and others around you. All we need to do is invite others into the truth of our story. Don't sugarcoat it, but just give the truth. Literally in verse 29, the Samaritan woman says, "Come and see a man who told me all that I ever did." Can you believe that this might be the Christ? A couple of weeks ago, we did a leader training on how to engage the people around us. And those that came, Matt and Nancy Holland, are missionaries, and they just talked about the Shema statements. Simple statements that allow an authentic conversation to happen that might point people to Jesus. We're going to post that as a link below this devotional, but I encourage you to read those and maybe try to use one of those today. Because here's the truth: your past, your broken past, can be used to transform somebody else's future through Jesus. So the question for us today is, will you allow your past to be saturated with the healing and transformational love of Jesus? And will you use that? Invite people into your story. Be honest about it. Will you share that freedom that you have in Jesus? Let it be so. Have a great day.